What's up, Steelers Nation? We're back with another exclusive report, and today, it's a big one. The Pittsburgh Steelers are doing everything in their power this offseason to improve, to evolve, and to finally bring that Lombardi trophy back to the 412. But as we all know, sometimes growth comes with tension, and there's tension right now. Inside that locker room, inside the front office, and all over the fan base. Before we dive into the shocking update involving Aaron Rodgers, what a former NFL general manager just said, and what this means for guys like TJ Watt and the future of this team, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing you the most exclusive, raw, and honest Steelers news every single week. All right, let's talk about the uncomfortable. Truth no one in the building wants to say out loud. But former Titans GM Ran Carthon just did. Look, we all know the Aaron Rodgers situation has dragged on for months. The interest is mutual. Rodgers wants to play, and Pittsburgh is the only logical landing spot. He visited. He met with the front office. And by all accounts, everything went well. But still, we wait. And now we've reached a critical point in the offseason. OTAs are around the corner, kicking off May 27th. Mandatory minicamp follows in mid-June, yet Rodgers is still unsigned. Former GM Ran Carthon is calling that a big problem. Here's what Carthon said on With the First Pick. Maybe Aaron Rodgers is further along in a wink-wink agreement with Pittsburgh. We don't know, but it speaks volumes that he's not out. They're building chemistry right now with his teammates. That's a bold claim from a former NFL executive. Carthon's not just talking about missing a few practices, he's talking about locker room trust. He's saying what a lot of fans have wondered for weeks. If Rodgers is really all in on this team, why isn't he there already? Now look, to be fair, Rodgers has a lot going on. He's reportedly dealing with personal issues and maybe taking time to decide whether he truly wants to commit to another season. But Carthon believes that whether Rodgers is reading the playbook behind the scenes or not, his absence from OTAs is still disrespectful to the rest of the locker room. And when you think about it, he's got a point. This is a team in flux. The quarterback room is in shambles. Last year, at least we had Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, two legitimate starters competing for the job. This year, we've got question marks across the board. Rodgers would instantly bring leadership, poise, and playoff experience. But instead of showing up and becoming the face of the team, he's watching from the sidelines, literally and figuratively. Now, Alex Highsmith recently said in an interview that the team would be excited to have Rodgers join. That's encouraging. It shows the players are still open-minded, still hopeful. But here's the thing. That might just be the politically correct answer. That might be Highsmith trying to keep the peace in public, while the actual feeling inside the locker room is more like, where's our guy? Carthon believes that leadership is built in the spring, not week one. He says guys need to see their quarterback, feel that presence in practice, start building that trust now. And honestly, he's not wrong. Even if Rodgers is mentally bought in, his physical absence sends a very different message to the guys grinding every day at the facility. With minicamp starting June 10th, time is running out. If Rodgers plans to suit up in black and gold this season, he's got maybe 2 weeks to sign that deal. Could he wait longer? Technically, yes. But this team needs clarity. They need a leader. And let's be real. If Rodgers was going to retire, he likely wouldn't have strung the Steelers along for 3 months. The longer this drags out, the more it looks like he's coming. But just on his terms. And that's the problem. Can Mike Tomlin afford to let one player operate on his own timeline? What does that say to everyone else busting their tail every day at OTAs? Now let's flip to the other major headline that could explode next week. TJ Watt. Watt is entering the final year of his deal. He wants a new contract. And after seeing what Myles Garrett and Max Crosby just signed for, you better believe Watt wants a raise, and deserves one. Back in 2021, remember what he did? A classic hold-in. He showed up, but he didn't fully participate in practices or preseason games until he got paid. Don't be shocked if we see the same thing again. Mark Kaboly, Steelers insider, said the first thing he'll be looking for at OTAs next week is whether or not Watt even shows up. And if he does, whether he's participating. Look, Watt wants a deal before week 1. The Steelers want him locked up long-term. Everyone's on the same page here. But time is tight, and emotions are high. Kaboly floated a possible deal, 3 years, $117 million with most of it guaranteed. That's a massive number, but it's what Watt is worth, especially now that Garrett is the highest-paid non-QB in NFL history. And here's the kicker. If the Steelers wait too long, guys like Micah Parsons and Trey Hendrickson will set the market even higher. So if Omar Khan's smart, and we know he is, he'll get this done before it gets more expensive. Steelers Nation, here's the real heart of the matter. This team's Super Bowl window with T.J. Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and Cam Hayward is shrinking fast. We haven't won a playoff game in 8 years. Read that again. 8. That's unacceptable with a defense like this. It's a waste of prime years for elite players. And if we're serious about contending, Rodgers needs to get in the building. Watt needs to be paid. And this team needs to be locked in. Together. We've got the pieces. We've got the defense. Now it's time for leadership, clarity, and urgency. All off-season, we've waited for clarity at the quarterback position. And now here we are in mid-May, and we still don't know who will be under center when the Steelers take the field in week 1. Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers? Will Mason Rudolph really get another chance? Can Will Howard shock the world? Well, NFL insider Bill Barnwell just dropped a bomb on SportsCenter that calls out Mike Tomlin directly for the team's uncertainty. He's not buying into the idea that Pittsburgh is heading in the right direction at quarterback. In fact, he's suggesting that Tomlin might be unnecessarily making things harder than they need to be. Feels kind of like Mike Tomlin trying to up the difficulty on his winning season streak, Barnwell said. That's a bold statement. He's essentially saying that Tomlin, who's never had a losing season as head coach, is intentionally taking a more difficult route by leaning on unproven options like Rudolph and Howard, instead of pushing harder for Rodgers or another proven veteran. Now, let's take a breath here. We all know Tomlin is a master motivator and one of the most respected coaches in the NFL, but this quarterback carousel is starting to feel like it's going in circles. Remember, last offseason, we had Russell Wilson and Justin Fields in the room, 2 guys with legitimate starting experience. That didn't work out. This year, it's Will Howard, a mid-round rookie, and Mason Rudolph, who's never fully secured a long-term starting role despite being with the team for years. Barnwell didn't stop there. He pointed out that Aaron Rodgers, while an all-time great, may not even fit the Steelers system anymore, especially at 40 years old. If he's not mobile, not engaged, or not in sync with the young weapons around him, this offense could sputter. And it's not like the Steelers can afford another year of being stuck in quarterback purgatory. Let's not forget, we're heading into the season without George Pickens. The Steelers shocked everyone by shipping him off to Dallas, and now DK Metcalf is the new face in the wide receiver room. Pro Football Focus just ranked Metcalf as the 23rd best receiver in the league. Since 2019, he's got 89 contested catches. That's elite territory. Whoever ends up being the quarterback in Pittsburgh this season is going to lean on Metcalf a lot. He's physical, explosive, and experienced. But can he carry the load in? A completely new system with a brand new QB throwing him the ball? Then there's the running back situation. Caleb Johnson, the rookie out of Iowa, is expected to start ahead of Jaylen Warren. That's another sign that the offense is heading in a completely new direction. There's talent, but there's also a lot of risk. Now let's circle back to the elephant in the room, Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers brought him in for a visit, and from all accounts, it went well. If Rodgers wants to play, Pittsburgh is reportedly his only viable landing spot. But weeks have gone by and he still hasn't signed. Some say he's dealing with personal issues. Others believe there's already a quiet handshake agreement and that he's just waiting for the right time to announce it. But OTAs start May 27th, and mandatory minicamp begins June 10th. If Rodgers misses those, the offense will already be behind the curve, especially with so many new pieces on the field. Can we really afford to wait much longer? Now let's switch gears for a moment and talk about one of the more inspiring stories of the offseason, offensive lineman Gareth Warren. Warren wasn't drafted. He wasn't even signed immediately after the draft. But when the Steelers invited him to rookie minicamp, he showed up with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove. "My agent called me after the draft," Warren said in a recent interview, "and told me some teams were interested. When the Steelers invited me, I knew I had to give it everything I had." Warren, who played at Lindenwood, has the rare versatility to play both tackle and guard. And let's be honest, depth on the offensive line is always critical, especially during the long grind of an NFL season. He said the team sees potential in him, and they want him to learn from the veterans and continue developing. "I was very blessed to hear that and very thankful," he said, "so I took it." It's a long road to the 53-man roster, but keep an eye on this guy. His mentality is exactly what Pittsburgh football is all about: gritty, tough, and hungry. So, what do you think, Steelers fans? Is Aaron Rodgers disrespecting the locker room by ghosting OTAs? Is Ran Carthon right to call this a problem, or is it just off-season noise? And how important is it that the Steelers get TJ Watt signed before Parsons and Hendrickson reset the market? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're reading every one of them. Smash that like button if you want Rodgers in black and gold this month. And don't forget to subscribe for more exclusive updates as we head into a massive week of Steelers news. Until next time, stay loyal, stay loud, and as always, here we go, Steelers!